So the first thing you're going to want to do is basically go up to Layer Control. Make sure you scroll down and you are on the wall layer. Once you have the wall layer selected, we're going to go up to the A in the top left corner, go down to Drawing Utilities and Units. We just want to double check and make sure that we've set up our units. They should be for length, architectural, and a precision of 0 feet, 0 inches. Now when we pull that down, we can go and change this, and I would like it set to 0 feet, 1/8 of an inch. That's the precision we're going to be drawing with, because that's the precision your house will be built with, typically, to 1/8 of an inch. So we'll press OK. It says for use with architectural engineering, blah, 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 insert units. So we're going to press OK if you get that prompt. Now our units, we've double checked, they're set up, the precision is set up. The next thing I want to do is come down to our snap and grid mode. And I'm just going to click on the little pull down and I'm going to go to snap settings. In snap settings, right now, I'm going to turn my snap on and I'm going to set it to 1 inch. Now you may be required to turn the snap off once in a while, but for most of us, we're going to be drawing most of our lines and they'll be 1 inch, 6 inches, 12 inches, and so on. And so drawing in 1 inch increments is going to be a good unit for our snap. It's up to you if you want a grid on. Again, I don't typically like grid, but if you like it, you can turn it on. And it's up to you what you set your X, Y spacing and your major line spacing. I would probably set the X and Y to 1 foot and the majors to maybe 5 or 10 feet. Once those are set up, we're going to press OK, and we're going to make sure our snap is on. So it should be highlighted blue down in the bottom. I'm also going to make sure my Ortho Mode is turned on, which is the next icon to the right of our snap mode. We are going to be typically drawing horizontal and vertical lines. So we want that on. Next, I'm going to come over to Object Snap, and I'm going to hit the little pull down arrow so I can see the different object snaps that are turned on. I want endpoint, midpoint, intersection, those 3, you can put center on, doesn't really matter. Those 3 or 4 should be turned on. Again, object snap should be highlighted. Now what I'm going to do is I would be taking a look at my drawing. So whether I go to my sketch on the graph paper or whether I go to my Word document, and I'm going to be starting with my garage. I know my garage is 20 feet by 20 feet. So I'm going to choose the line tool. I'm going to start in the bottom. For me, it's the bottom left-hand corner. For you, it might be bottom right corner if it's on the right side of your house. And I'm going to click to place the front of my garage, and I'm going to type in 20, the foot symbol, and enter. Then I'm going to go up 20, the foot symbol, and enter, back 20 feet, and then I'm going to close it off and press enter. So there is my garage. Now at this point, I'm going to take all of these walls for the garage and I'm going to offset them to the inside of the garage. I can't offset them out because it would make the house too wide. So I'm going to offset them all in. It's also a 20 by 20 room, so offsetting them inside is smarter than outside. So I'm going to type in offset, and our walls are all going to be 2 by 4 walls. So I'm going to go with a 4-inch offset for the width of the wall. So 4 inches, then I'm going to click on these walls and click to the inside to offset them on the inside. I'll right-click and press enter. So now I have the double lines that represent my walls. You'll notice in the corners, those lines, of course, cross each other. we don't want any walls and lines crossing each other like this. We want basically a little mouse, if he got into this wall, to be able to travel anywhere in our house. So all of the walls will be cut open to each other. So I'm going to come in here and trim these off. Now there are two ways of doing this. Trim, enter, enter, and then clicking on our lines to trim them off. The other option is you can use the Fillet Tool or the Fillet Tool. Fillet a fish, fillet a line. Up to you. Now fillet, what you can do is hit a radius of 0. And what that will do is square off all the corners. And then if you hit the letter M for multiple fillets, you can go around and basically click on the edge of the lines and it will automatically fillet them for you. Now I've trimmed those because they're easy enough, so I'll press enter to finish the trim command. So next, I am going to start to build the rooms either behind the garage or beside the garage. And all we're going to be using is the offset tool to do that. So what I'm going to be doing is taking the back wall of the garage and offsetting it the distance of my laundry, utility, and powder room. And in my case, it's 8 feet. Now yours is going to be different. You're going to have to look at your plans and decide how much the offset needs to be for the room behind your garage. I typically will work on one room at a time. So 8 feet is my offset, and I'm going to take both these walls and offset them. I'll press enter. The next tool I'm going to use is up with trim, and it's extend. I'll press extend, and then I'll press enter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on these lines to extend them up to the edge of my laundry room. I'll right click and press enter, and I'll trim those lines off again inside there. Now at this point I have a small utility room here at the end of my laundry room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two lines and offset them to create that little area for the utility room. Now for me, it is 4 feet. So I'm going to type 4 and the foot marking, and I'm only going to offset the inside line. And I could do the outside line as well, but I'm going to have to do a ton of trimming. So I'd rather just do the one line and then offset it over the 4-inch thickness for our wall. Again, I'm going to come in here and trim these pieces off. I want a mouse, if it was in my wall, to be able to travel anywhere in my house. Now next, I have right here my laundry room. So I am going to go back to offset, and I'm going to type in 7 feet for my laundry room, and I'm going to offset this over. Then I have a hallway or a passageway from the garage into the house, and it is 36 inches. So I'm going to offset these walls. 36, and I'll offset them over. My next room here is my powder room. So for that, I'm going to extend my lines up. And then again, I'm going to do all my trimming. Now my laundry room, I haven't decided yet whether I want this hallway or whether I'm just going to make it a part of the laundry room. So I'm going to leave this hallway for now. I may take this wall right out so that the laundry room is just one larger room, and you can walk through it to get from the garage into the main section of the house. Now the next room behind this for me is a den. So I would be taking these two walls and offsetting them over the distance of my den. So my den is 7 feet. I'd be taking this wall and that wall, offsetting them over. Again, extending my external walls. Trimming things off. And then offsetting my lines over the size of that room. Now in the case of this room, it is 8 feet. So I'll offset 8 feet. And I'll take this line, offset it over, and then I'm going to take it and offset it back 4 inches. So really it's all about offsetting, extending, and trimming. Now right here, I could draw a small line in and extend it over. I don't want to do that because I don't want a bunch of partial lines that represent the rooms. It is much smarter to take this line and extend it to that line. So I'll type in extend, enter, enter, and I'll extend that over. Again, I'm going to come in and trim off these lines so that I have gaps everywhere. Now what about the other side of my house? This is front entrance for me in the middle beside the garage. And it's 8 feet wide. It's set back 6 feet from the front of the garage. So I can do a few things. One is I could draw a line from the corner of the garage back 6 feet and then across 8 feet and then do my offsetting and trimming and so on from there. So I'll go to line. I'll start my line here. I'll make sure I'm traveling up 6 apostrophe for the foot marking, and then I'll come across my 8 feet. Then my house comes forward 4 feet, and it goes across the rest of the distance, which is 12 feet for my front room. And that takes me to the 40-foot side yard of my house. Now, oftentimes I'll just take this line and just take it all the way down the side. Because really the side of my house is straight. I don't have to worry about any jogs in it. And then I'll do my offsetting 4 inches again. And I'll offset each of these walls. And I'll show you quickly how to use the Fillet Tool if you're interested in doing that. These two lines don't connect together. So I can't trim them. I would have to extend one to something else and then extend the other. So this is where the Fillet Tool becomes really useful. So I'll type in fillet, and I'm going to hit R and enter and set it to 0 for the radius. And then I'm going to hit M and enter, so I'm doing a multiple fillet. I can click on this edge, that edge, it will fillet that off. I click on this edge and that edge, it will fillet it off, and so on. So oftentimes I'll go around when a bunch of fillets need to be done or corners need to be fixed, and I'll fillet them all at once I've got the Fillet Tool set up and under multiple mode. Now there's not much I can do here other than trim this little line, so I'll finish that. Type in trim, enter, enter, and I'll trim that off and press enter to finish. So we're going to go around and make all of the different rooms by just offsetting, extending, and trimming. Now as far as which direction you offset to, all of the exterior wall lines have to be offsetted into the house because we're already building right to the edge of our envelope that we're allowed to build on. So we can't offset out any further. Everything else, as far as rooms, you have to decide which room can I lose 4 inches on each wall from. So a possibility of losing 8 to 10 inches by the time that wall is built on both ends. And you have to make those decisions on which room you can take space from. So in a reasonable sized powder room, I've got no problem offsetting it to the inside. Same with a utility room that's 5 by 8. That's plenty of space. It's even going to give me a little bit of storage. Lots of access to the furnace and hot water tank. I'm going to offset those to the inside. And so on. You have to make those calls. So if you can finish up creating your walls. Any questions? No. Trevor. So you only have 4 feet or 4 inches for each wall. 4 inches for each wall. That's what we're going to be building because it's a single level rancher. And it's here in the lower mainland. If you were building somewhere up in the interior, your exterior walls would probably be 2 by 6 walls. So you would offset the exterior walls by 6 inches. And the extra room is for what purpose? Anybody know? Insulation is the main reason we do it. Also structural rigidity. 2-level homes are going to have some 2 by 6 walls as well. And those are going to be structural walls that help to support the second floor. For the most case on a single level rancher though, 2 by 4 construction is perfectly fine here in the lower mainland.